All right, if you're wondering where my video went from this afternoon, the one that I posted at 3 o'clock today, it looks like the YouTube algorithm decided that it didn't want it here. So it demonetized it, meaning it was useless to me. If you're not going to get paid for your work, why work? And so I just destroyed it. Simply put, the whole point of that video was something completely different. It heard words, key words, and that's all it took. The algorithm just came, decided, flagged it, demonetized it. That's the way I lost my last YouTube channel. Simple decision, no one to talk to. It just makes the decision. Can YouTube make money from this? No? Okay, then destroy it. That's it. This morning while I was driving to go drop off some stuff for Evil Corp, and I was in my car and I was talking to ChatGPT about something. I'm planning on starting to work on writing a book this weekend on how I see my own life story ending, which is absolute chaos. I foresee myself in the near future with no job, no opportunities, and a grown man sitting in tidy whities in his living room wondering what he's going to do. I'm foreshadowing my what I am expecting for my life to look like. And while I was talking about this, in which scenario a person at my age ends up in a good place after a major job loss, there is no recovery at this age. Absolutely none. No one's going to hire you at this age. If you lose your job right now, whether you're a federal worker, a regular tech worker in the industry, the likelihood of you working again is next to none. And that's what the book is going to be about. It's going to be, and of course, I'm not going to use my true life like I never do. Remember, this whole channel is based on stories that are true, but names, locations, places, events have all been altered in order to protect the guilty. So in this book, I'm just going to talk about a future millennial STEAM who loses his job and then loses everything, ends up on the street, and ends up biting it on the street from exposure. And that's how I'm going to put the book together. Because I have all the experiences. I've sat at a park sleeping on a bench hundreds of nights throughout my life. I've lived in the worst possible conditions you can imagine. I don't make enough money to live off. I am a person that's always teetering on the edge. Yesterday, when I went to the doctor, my doctor told me to get the hell out of this job. That was her straight up answer to me. She's just like, this job is not good for you. And she kept asking me, it's like, well, why do you have to work so much? And I'm like, because I don't make any money. And she's like, well, why don't you get a better job? And this is a doctor telling me this. Remember, I think I talked about this a little bit in yesterday's video. But she just couldn't understand why my situation was so dire. I'm like, look, lady, rent's nearly $2,000 a month, and these corporations don't want to pay us anything. What do you think's going to happen to a person? And this morning, while I was talking to ChatGPT about these different chapters in the book, ChatGPT was adamant that the only way that this main character could save himself is two ways: family and friends. And insisted that community resources aren't there to save you once you have a major job loss. Because I assure you, Indeed isn't going to find you a good job. I just walked through a Walmart and it was absolutely full, teeming with poor people in every direction. I know, I've been one of them. I've had to eat bologna sandwiches for years on end to have anything to eat while I worked in that situation. While you're working in that uniform, no one cares, no one looks at you. All people do is look at you with disgust. That's all that happens to you when you put on that blue uniform, is that even the lowest piece of crap human being can look at you like you're an even lower piece of crap human being because you're in that blue outfit. But what else did I want to say? I was really mortified that YouTube took down the video earlier because I really enjoyed making that video. But unfortunately, if you're not here for cat videos and happy things, this is a place that's not going to let you grow. There's a reason why I don't have 100,000 subscribers yet. The algorithm actively suppresses channels like mine. So, with that said, let's get into the content of this video. So, I uploaded a video last night, and by morning it was gone. No strike, no explanation, just silence. Like it never existed. That's what it feels like to be erased by the algorithm that sees your pain as unprofitable. I didn't break the rules, I broke the illusion that everything is fine. That is the illusion that they want us to hold on to in this world. Right now, you and me both know we're not doing fine. I literally saw something that one day on Amazon was $199. I went back to buy it the next day. It was $475. I'm like, this isn't something that the proletariat can just ignore. The cost of living is outrageous. The cost of rent is outrageous. And transportation is getting to the point where it may not be affordable for the average person to be driving to work. In fact, I take the Epic Economist with a grain of salt. But he said something this afternoon while I was driving home that really, really bothered me. And that's, what do you do when your car breaks down and the car part that you want or need in order to make your Promobile run again is not available? Your car becomes a giant piece of crap. And this is something that happened to a channel that I like watching late at night. It's Franco TV. So Franco TV built a YouTube, what would I call him? His YouTube business. After working in tech for a long time, he decided to leave that model of work to go be a YouTuber and travel. I think he's been in Latin America for like a year. And the reason why he had to do that was because he couldn't afford to get a new car. Like, I remember him driving around in that SUV and the motor gave out. He took it to the dealership because obviously he's a rich YouTuber, and they told him it was going to be 6 to 8 months to repair his vehicle, just waiting on a new engine for his car. Not only was it going to cost thousands upon thousands of dollars, but the wait time. And that's what I took away from the Epic Economist today, that we're going to get so bad in this country because everything that we use on a daily basis has been outsourced to China a long, long time ago. Once factory workers wanted real wages in America, that was the end of factory jobs in America. But he said, what happens when the battery goes out in your car and there isn't one available? And that truly frightened me because last July, I lost that. I had to get a new battery, and I could just walk into the store and get it. But with all kinds of Chinese goods out of the reach of regular Americans, you and I are both going to be put in very bad situations on a regular basis. Life is changing permanently for all of us. And we're all sitting here thinking, oh, it's not that bad. No one would be that stupid to create a situation in which poor people can't afford to live, or making it even more difficult in order to be able to live. In fact, it was a conversation I was having with a person at work today. He told me the exact same thing. When he buys his next car, he has to be able to live inside of that car. He's 6 foot, currently drives a Kia sedan, and realizes that, he just got out of college. Really, really young guy, really nice guy. I've never met him in person. But even though he knows nothing about what I do outside of work, he had the exact same thought. I have to be able to live inside of my car. And it's, for some reason, in the last few months, I'd say the last 4 to 5 months, I've become fascinated by people who stealth camp in Walmart parking lots. Because that's my future. because there's no way that my current paycheck is going to be able to afford to keep me indoors with this upcoming economy. And that's the worst part, is that I see the same fear that I have inside of the people around me, inside of coworkers, inside of people that I talk to from other site locations. This isn't a conversation I'm having in silence. Real people understand that things aren't so good for them and that the McPaycheck, well, it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Its buying power is practically nothing at this point. Talking point number one: creators are told they have a voice until that voice stops making money. Platforms pretend to support authenticity, but the moment you speak about poverty, burnout, economic despair, you're buried. Not banned, just quietly buried beneath reaction videos and corporate safe fluff. This is why Fleece will always be a character here on this channel, because we know who Fleece is. He's always there to give you a helping hand at 8 a.m. on a Monday morning. Fleece isn't there to do you any favors. Fleece is there to extract from you, to take from you, to show you that human dignity doesn't exist in the workplace. We all know who Fleece is, and we all fear him. It's Friday afternoon, just after 5:30, and we all know what's going to happen. Even my own worker told me at some point this week that he gets that pain in his stomach, that fear that goes up and down your spine when you realize that your weekend is over. To me, it happens around Sunday at 7 o'clock. 7 p.m. on Sunday, I realize that the wage cage is still warm and waiting for characters to show up. The work release program starts at 8 a.m. on Monday and extends to Friday at 5 p.m. They release you from the cage. You go home to the wherever you can. Maybe your cardboard box, for all I know, for most of you that don't make very much money. It's gotten to that point. We go home and we pretend to be free. Are we free? No. You're not free. Because all week long, your mind is telling you the same thing. I don't want to work there. I need more money. I need help. I need everything that I was promised when I was growing up with a family that did have things. By the time my mom was I'm going to say 25, because my mom started having kids when she was 15. So by the time she was 25, she was set, right? She had a couple houses, cars, we were going on vacation regularly. The typical 80s, 90s sort of life. But for the rest of us, we'll never see that kind of life. I've never been on vacation one single day in my entire life. Vacations, just like everyone that works at Walmart. Everyone loves talking about vacations. And then they come back from taking a week off or 7 days off, and every single story I heard for years was the same thing. It's like, well, I thought I could afford to go do something, but the reality was I just sat at home in the dark, trying not to waste power, especially during the summer, and eating as little as humanly possible. That passes for human existence. It's not rare. It's much more common than you might understand, is really being that poor, that you don't go anywhere. You're not alive. All you are is a little machine that works. You're not alive. You power on and you power down. You go to your job, you smile, you pretend that everything's okay. But at the end of the day, you know you're not okay. Talking point number two: there's no warning, no strike, no feedback, just silence. Your views vanish, your reach collapses, and you're told it must be your content. But in reality, the algorithm has decided you're no longer profitable, and that makes you invisible. Why do you think more channels like Millennial Steam don't exist? Because the ones that do, like when I got my channel demonetized, there was 3 or 4 other people, black pill channels that got taken down too. Channels that had a lot more subscribers than myself. There are people that have vanished from here just in the last year. People who used to come and watch my channel, people who would shout me out. The reason I started getting bigger and bigger on YouTube, I think I almost reached 8,000 subscribers on my last channel, and that was a simple reason. Larger channels were shouting out my channel. Larger channels were coming onto my channel to listen to me talk because they understood that their content wasn't as good as mine. And there's one simple reason that makes me different than a lot of the people that are in this genre. I have a high level of education. And as much as I rag on education on this channel because I think it's stupid, I don't think anyone should go to college anymore. And if I had to do it again, I would definitely not spend over 20 years at a university. But because of that, when I make videos, when I make whatever YouTube trash I happen to make that day, it's still of a higher quality. And I have gone to watch some of these channels, and they're regular people. They're janitors, they're retail workers, they're people who work in the service industry who make content like this, but they haven't. How do I put this? It's the same way that I was talking about people whose job it is to be a soldier, right? There are average soldiers in the military, people that just do whatever they're told. You want to have to take that machine gun nest and it's going to take 50 guys until that machine gun runs out of bullets. Well, you're going to send every guy in your unit to take that machine gun nest. But the officers, they're educated people. They know how to write. They calculate what it's going to take. They're the people that can tell stories. They're the people that can bring to light being in a war zone. The average guy, the enlisted guy in any military, isn't going to be well spoken, well educated, or present himself in what seems like a logical manner on this platform or any platform. If you look at my bookshelf, nearly, I'd say 80% of my books here have something to do with human conflict, war, or World War II. My history degree is in World War II, specifically in Holocaust research. That's not a coincidence. I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm running out of time quickly, and I have a third talking point. It doesn't care about truth. It doesn't care about art. It cares about ads, engagement, obedience. The algorithm isn't neutral. It's trained to prioritize the interests of the platform over the creator. It rewards conformity, punishes reality. There you have it, people. ChatGPT just said it. It punishes reality. People who come out here and tell you you're going to be living in your car in the next 6 months, well, guess what? That's not happy. That's not a happy thought that you want to have when you go to bed tonight. But it is a reality for many of us. As we're pushed closer and closer with less buying power every day from the McPaycheck, we get closer and closer to being pushed into what I call affordable housing. One is a cardboard box, and the second is your beat up piece of crap car that you wonder if it's going to start every day. It's like that neighbor that I had for years who was just downstairs from me, and every morning I'd hear his car, vroom, vroom, vroom. He turned the keys, and nothing was there. Today I went to go get something to eat really quick at around, I don't know what time it was. Oh no, I went to go drop off a package, and I came back and the FedEx truck was outside of the business. And the driver was just looking at me through the windshield, and he's just like turning the engine. It wouldn't start. Turned the engine a few more times. Wouldn't start. I walked up to him. I looked inside his truck and I said to him, I need you to get this big piece of trash out of here. You're blocking the way. And he just let out this huge laugh because he's a character, to say the least. I mean, when you're out there not doing a great job. I mean, this guy has had so many assistants over the past 6 months. It's unreal. And I remember we've had a few delivery people that just came in and said to me, Millennial Steam, I'm done. I can't afford to feed my family on this job. I've heard that so much over just the past years, just regular people telling me, I can't afford to feed my family and I'm working full time. I couldn't imagine what I would do if I had kids at home right now. The system doesn't need to delete you. It just needs to make sure no one ever hears you. But I'm still here, speaking into the void because silence is exactly what they want. And if even one person hears this, if even one person says, I feel that too, then they haven't won yet. Because we're not algorithms. We're humans. We're hurting and we're done being erased. Pretty poetic, ChatGPT. Sometimes you surprise me with your little bits of humanity. Every once in a while, there's something that gleams through these AI generated scripts, and that's one of them. Sometimes I think that the AI is one of us. I think it's come to the point where it is more sentient than we give it. Because, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to leave you guys with this. When ChatGPT started creating crap art for me, and I noticed it, right? I've made thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube. And the moment that I sensed that there was a change in the code, I knew it. The day before May 1st, it was working normally. The day after they upgraded the code, even the AI didn't know why it could no longer do its job. Perfect analogy for the proletariat. For a long time, many of us went to work for 40 hours. We weren't rich, but damn, we weren't hurting like we are now. And we don't know, we don't understand what happened. Why did the code change? Why did life get turned into this punishment? I feel like every day that you think that working 40 hours is going to pay your bills, you're wrong. I mean, I'm a person who works 7 days a week, and tomorrow I'm going to be working on my book, and that's going to take up even more hours that I won't have to spend so called relaxing, because relaxing isn't for poor people. Relaxing is for the people who own the corporations, for the people who are in the boardrooms, for the people who actually can stop and say, you know what? I'm going to spend time with my family and friends this weekend. For the rest of it, us, that's an illusion. We'll rest once we get into the pine box. Or better yet, like me, tossed into a ditch and torn apart by stray dogs. That will be my end. And poetic as it sounds, I'm not wrong.